Hey guys, I just realized I had the sound off, so I'll do the little welcome again. Thank you for being here, Stefan here. So, like I was saying, I was supposed to stream yesterday, but I couldn't because I was too tired because of work. So I figured that I would come back today and stream today, and I'll stream tomorrow as well. And so last time we did the unification, trying to get all the characters in line. So that was done, and at this point, everything looks good, looks okay. They're all, they all have the right scale. The faces are consistent. It's really it was really about consistency more than anything else, and so that should be done at this point. And so tonight I haven't worked. I said that I would work on Axel Folly, but I haven't done it yet. But I will eventually. But tonight I felt like we need to make a new character because it's been a while since you guys haven't had something fun to watch, and I know that going over old characters and fixing a few things here and there is not the most interesting thing to stream. So we'll make another brand new character. And I was thinking of doing this guy, Flash Gordon. It's a 1980 movie by Mike Hodges, based on the pulp character from the 30s, created by Alex Raymond. And this movie is really still today, at least maybe even more today than when I was a kid. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I watch it regularly. I just love this movie. It's really silly and over the top, and but at the same time, it has a really cool vibe. It's hard to describe. It's almost like they're very aware of what they did, but at the same time, they don't overdo the. It's not like a spoof, you know. It feels like a comedy, but at the same time, it has the sort of heroic vibe that they had in the pulps at the time. So I feel like they captured the pulp pretty good, pretty well actually. Even though it was more serious at the time in the comic book, but and in fact, when they set out to make the movie, it was supposed to be way more serious than that. And then the script writers they had fun with it, and the director, he embraced it completely. But the producer, I think Dino De Laurentiis, he wasn't too happy with the direction that they took. He wanted to make something a little more serious. Like he had produced, not yet, but he was about to produce Conan the Barbarian from John Milius. And I guess with that movie, they went a lot more dramatic. And it was a few years later. So I think Dino De Laurentiis at that time, he was determined to get his fantasy, his serious epic fantasy out. But the Flash is definitely Flash Gordon is definitely not this one. But it's still a really good cast. This guy, the Flash Gordon, the actor, Sam Jones, he's really an unknown, and he pretty much stayed that way. Poor guy. He really didn't have a career after that. But I guess that's the curse of many of those movies. They mark they set an actor into a character, and they can't get out of it. And I guess Luke was similar. Luke Skywalker, was Luke. At least it was he got to make several films in the franchise. But Flash Gordon, that was one, and that was it, And actually, speaking of Star Wars, George Lucas was supposed to direct. Hey, Murder Bunny, how are you? Flash, yeah, it's my alert sound for followers. Actually, if you've heard that, so it's funny. Yeah, I really wanted to have that on the stream. That sound, the Queen song is just fabulous. It's incredible. The whole soundtrack actually is really fun. This song is the most. Everyone knows that, but if you listen to the actual entire soundtrack, it's pretty cool. And but yeah, George Lucas was supposed to direct Flash Gordon. Actually, he really wanted to do it, and they eventually gave the project to Mike Hodges, and because of that, George Lucas made Star Wars, which is interesting because we're talking about it took a long time for this movie to get out of development hell. So early 70s, in the 74 something, they were looking for a director already, and yeah, if it hadn't been for Flash, maybe if George Lucas had done Flash, maybe he would have never done Star Wars. So it's interesting that we owe Star Wars to probably the decision of Dinos De Laurentiis to give it to someone else. Hey Thinktail, hey Sheik, Zack Attack Leader, hello. Oh, it's a raid. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Hey Sheik, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate that a lot. So you're my first subscriber, actually, first sub officially. So that's pretty good. That's something we can never take away from you. You know, that's it. You're first. So yeah, we're gonna make a Flash today, and it's pretty simple character actually. There's not much. He's got two different outfits in there. It's funny because they're very similar but different, which begs the question why they would make two different outfits that kind of could be confused for each other. It's a really weird choice. And actually, I was about to make this one, and then I remembered, I don't know, it seems to me that there was some black somewhere on the shirt. And then I looked up, because I owned the movie, I scrubbed through it, and I found... Oh, thank you for the gift to Murder Bunny Chic. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much. Okay, Murder Bunny is the second subscriber now. Very cool. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And so yeah, so I scrubbed through the movie, and I remember him with the gold sword, and really silly sword, and that's where I found this outfit, which is the one that is really, I think, on the poster, and the one that everyone knows. So Thinktail, thanks for the following. It's very appropriate that we hear this. So I guess this is perfect. Yeah, I like this. I haven't done all my my alerts actually. Thank you for the cheer, Mother Bunny. Thank you very much. 5 bits for me. Yeah, I haven't worked on all the alerts and stuff. I have the emotes set up. I haven't really tested them on the stream, but hopefully they should work. You get this guy. So the first you get, yeah, that's the one. It's like an old Amber terminal, you know, with the Amber screen. And then if you upgrade, you get the Mac, in, you know, the black and white Mac. And if you're crazy enough to get the last tier, it's let me see, it's this guy, the my favorite computer of all time, even today, the C64. Actually, if you know, the Commodore 64 is still today the personal computer that has sold the most in the entire world. It's really crazy, you know, more than any other computer. But I guess obviously, you know, without counting PC, all the brands. But if you take one specific brand, one specific model of computer, it's still C64 the most sold in the entire world. So anyway, so we're gonna start with this. I did a small version of Flash back in the days. Let me see. So for you, I guess I should talk a little bit since we have new people here. So what I'm doing here is I have this project, this the yeah. Well, Wikipedia knows their facts. So thanks, Wikipedia. But yeah, I know a little bit about the movies. So Zack Attack, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. Yeah, the Snaffle Facts channel. But I think it's really something that I like. I have two passions, movies and video games generally, and that's why I wanted to do this game project. Where so the idea is to make a game like some sort of a RPG, survival roguelike, something like this. I guess if you think of Darkest Dungeon meets Isaac, or with some element of survival, and the idea was to have all the characters are characters from movies, all very famous characters, all of them, and also there's no character that you can't have in your team in the game. Everyone that you meet, you can fight. You can try to have him or her join the team, and they can also leave the team at any point, because they have different alignments. They're neutral characters, the good characters and the bad characters, and sometimes if the plan is that if you do something, if you have, let's say, three bad characters, and a good one, the good one might just leave the party because it doesn't feel right. And I even want to try out, see if they could fight each other, because this is something that was in Knights of the Old Republic. It was an incredible memory of this game, where at the very end you can branch out and decide to go and take the place of the villain, or try and destroy it. And depending on what you do, the team, which is composed of different various people from the dark side and the light side, they start to argue, and the thing escalates really bad, and to a point. This one, Flashdance. This is Flashdance. And the thing escalates to a point where they start fighting each other, and actually some of your teammates get killed, which was crazy. And that's it, they're gone forever. So I thought it was great. So this is something that I'd like to do. So all the characters based on movie, and this is something that I did to represent the environment, some sort of map. So you imagine, like every time you get into an environment, you'll get a little, tile like this, and then that's going to be your map. And also I want to have famous vehicles like Christine, the DeLorean, the Beetle, the Spinner from Blade Runner, and even props would be fun. The E.T. skateboard from Marty McFly. So all movie stuff. So yeah, so I want to make eventually maybe 120 characters or so, and I have something like 35, 40. So it's gonna take a lot of this one, you mean? Yeah, we can go over them really quickly. Sorry for people who have seen this already, but I feel like so we can go over this. This is Blondie from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. She is Valeria from Conan the Barbarian, the John Milius movie. This is Mad Max with the dog. There's the Xenomorph from Alien. Snake Plissken from Hey, Pixel Bleed. Nice to see you again. That's awesome. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, so that's what's his name? Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. She's Foxy Brown from Foxy Brown. And then we have the Iron Giant, probably one of my favorite animation features. The Forrest Gump, Rambo, Bill Kilgore from Apocalypse Now, Axel Foley, the Beverly Hills Cop, the T-800 from Terminator, Ben-Hur, the 1952 movie from William Wyler, and this is Elephant Man, Beetlejuice, Luke Skywalker. Those two are Dr. Zira and Cornelius, the ape couple, the chimps couple, in the 1968 Franklin Schaffner Planet of the Apes, the first one. And this is Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ripley from Alien with the cat Jonesy. This is Tony Montana from Scarface. Dave Bowman from 2001 A Space Odyssey. Jessica Rabbit, The Rocketeer. That's his name, Jack Torrance from The Shining. This is Pinhead from what's the name of that movie? Hellraiser. This is Red Sonja from actually there was a movie, but she didn't look like that. Bridget Nielsen was playing Red Sonja, but this film was terrible, and she didn't even look like Red Sonja. Red Sonja is supposed to have like the red hair, so it was really weird. But anyway, so I decided to make something that is more like the original character. This is a Popeye from the crazy William Friedkin movie, French Connection. William Friedkin, who also made The Exorcist. This is Axel from Flashdance. This is Alex. This is Sarah Connor, as in Terminator 2. Robocop, Indiana Jones, Dr. Herbert West from the Stuart Gordon movie Reanimator, and that's Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Mike Myers from Halloween, and Mac Ready from The Thing. Those two are original. I want to have original characters that would be the idea would be the Earth has been invaded by those weird creatures. They come from another dimension, and because they messed up all space and time, all those characters from all the movies, they end up at the same time back to the real world, and they are going to try to get rid of those guys. This is what's his name? Darkness from Legend, and Conan the Barbarian. So that's it. All there. Johnny Five from Short. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's on my list. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't get Breakfast Club yet, but Johnny Five will definitely be on the list. Actually, I was thinking that I would like to have some sort of parity, at least a balance of characters. So I would like to have something like 40% of female, 40% of male, and maybe 20% of creatures and robots, stuff like that. That would be a good balance, I think. But it's harder to find female characters. This is when you're trying to do this. This is where you realize that how biased movies were up until actually pretty recently toward male heroes. So it's a little more challenging, but I can definitely find them. But they're a little less. Sometimes less iconic, or you have to dig a little deeper to find female characters, which is a shame. But what else? So yeah, so we're gonna do, and so very early I started with those super tiny guys. They're 32 pixel high, pretty small, and I think I'm gonna use both actually. I'm gonna use this to do the little animations and stuff, and I'm gonna use this probably for the character sheet and everything that goes with it. But I still have to prototype all that stuff, so everything I say is really hypothetical at that point. That's for sure. So yeah, Flash, I did a Flash, I think. A small Flash, yeah, that's the one. So you can see the gold sword and the logo and stuff. So we're gonna do the same, but I think I'm gonna do a different pose. I kind of like this pose, and it was the pose that he had on the poster, so it's kind of like the iconic thing for him. So I think I'm gonna do that probably. So we'll get started. Let me see. So get rid of this. So I need to find someone that is more or less that is a little bit close, if I can, because this helps to start with when you have a little bit of the scale already. And this is really only I'm going to repaint everything, but it's just so that I'm not completely off in terms of scale. So I think maybe I don't know, actually. Maybe I could take, I guess I could take Rambo, because the legs are probably in the same sort of, I don't know, actually. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, to be honest. But let's see. Maybe I could take him, because I got the hands already, which is really hard to do, those two little hands. So maybe this will come in handy. I guess we're gonna do that. We'll take a look. So here we go. Where are you, Luke? Characters. Luke. There. So copy him over, and then we're gonna go over here. Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, with the sword. Yeah. Where is he? Yeah, totally. When he changes into He-Man. Yeah. Actually, I watched this recently. I think they have it on Netflix, the old one, and I was shocked how much of a comedy it is. For some reason, I remember it as something that was a little more not serious, but you know, something like E-Man is the badass and the Skeletor is the evil. But when you watch this today, it's crazy. I mean, it's like it's insane how silly it is. It's like they didn't care at all. It's funny. It's funny how you remember things different. Even Flash Gordon. I saw that when I was a kid, and I remember I didn't get the comedy at all. Like for me, it was like, this is the best thing ever. Like it was like the same thing as Star Wars. I didn't see the difference. I couldn't tell that one was really silly and the other one was a little more you know, serious. And now I watch Star Wars and Flash Gordon for very different reasons, and I see them totally differently. But yeah, it's weird how this stuff can go over your head when you're you know, you're little. You don't really see any of that. I guess all I cared about was you know, the fights and the spaceships and all that stuff, and I didn't really see anything funny in it, but I loved it. Okay. Yeah, Dino De Laurentiis wasn't too happy with the fact that they turned this into a comedy. So it's I'm gonna take the hands, move them out of the way first. Boom. Take one color for skin. Doesn't really matter which one. Actually, let me flip it since so early on everything is super messy and bad, and that's expected. It's no nothing to be too worried about, but it is for sure it is kind of a weird thing in the beginning to start, because you kind of you have to make abstraction of how rough it looks, and just go for the feeling, the overall pose, and you can't be too picky, you know, about anything, and you can't really get any of the details. So we're gonna just put the big masses. Always do that first. What about the wreath? I don't know who that is. Honestly, you beat me there. I have no idea. I have to look it up. I don't know. The wraith. The wraith. Was that Charlie Sheen? Wow. Huh. Yeah. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Maybe I've seen it and I don't remember the title, but yeah, it's weird. God, I don't remember that. Is that an old? Is that what is that old? So yeah, so at this point I really don't care about you know, little details, logo, or whatever, you know. It's just putting the main elements, and that's it, you know. Nothing more. I'm trying to get some kind of pose. So going fast is something that I like to do, because I can't get bogged down into all the, you know, the second guessing and all the, you know, you kind of want to make abstraction of the fear of failing at that point, and the best way is to just go in and you know, go for the quick quick stuff. So I think it's a black pants, nothing special there. So we're gonna do pan real quick. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I think this leg is nice actually. That's I think I can use this leg. Let me see. This leg is probably fine, so we can do almost the same there, and then we'll the other leg I'm gonna change, have it a little more spread them out a little more, because it's a more aggressive stance. Look, I really wanted to make the more like the defensive pose, because that's what he is, you know. He's a more of a he doesn't use the force for anything no aggression. And actually, let me see. So I'm gonna have to make him stand straight. This thing kind of bothers me because it's the wrong angle, so I'm gonna get rid of that for now. '80s film, okay. It's a cool costume. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely need any idea that you guys have, especially female characters, especially females, because I got plenty of guys, but getting women is more difficult. We're gonna put really quickly some kind of indication of the belt, because waist is something that is very crucial for any character. You want to put that very early, because that's that gives you a lot of information. So he's all little weak right now, so we're gonna have to make sure that we make him stand a little stronger. So we want get rid of that head for now. So arm, I need to really to fix this. Oops. Well, sometimes it's gonna take a little while to get the basics done. But this is really the part that you don't want to rush, because if you get the foundation wrong, no amount of little detail and fancy stuff will help. You know, it's once it's messed up, it's messed up. So you really need to make sure that you get this as good as possible. And see, so what I do is I just start with a pose to give me a sort of a sense or where, you know, the length of the different the legs and stuff. But then I slowly adjust the pose depending on what I try to do with the character. Here we want the V in the, you know, the in the torso. So I need to take off some of that. It's important to get this this line there. So we just go like this. Oh yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it's all messed up at the moment. Like I said, yeah, it's all everything is messed up, not only the biceps, but I think problem right now is more the length of the arm. It's kind of tricky to get. I think the angle is not quite right, so we're gonna change this as well. But yeah, for sure, there's plenty of problems right now. It's gonna be like this for a little while. And also, it's kind of tricky because you're tempted to make the characters quite beefy, and you want the limbs to be nice and readable, but at the same time, at this size, there's actually not that much leeway. There's really just a few more pixels sometimes, and things look too big, or this is gonna be a challenge because those two arms, they get confused. So I'm gonna have to use a shadow for the back arm. We'll try to do that. So go a little darker, and then we're gonna do this and try to get the arm to read like this. So slowly, getting things done. Obviously, still very messy and not great, but getting there. We're gonna get this feet more facing us, because that's gonna be more dynamic. You want one feet to look to point this way, and the feet to go this way, because then it gives just a little more perspective to the character. It's always something that you have to take into account, foreshortening and stuff like that. Not always something that's easy to do, especially in Pixel, but it's worth trying, because that gives you a lot of interesting form, I flip regularly, because this is a good way to oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm gonna just do this. Yeah, flipping is a good way of seeing. Do you charge for personal artwork? I don't really. I haven't really taken any commission for, especially for Pixel. To be honest, no one has really asked me, so I haven't really thought about that. But the truth is that I have this project that's gonna take me a long time, plus the stream. So I don't know if I even have the capacity to do all that work for on top of of everything that I have to do, plus work like my regular day job. So it's a lot of work already. So, and one thing that I don't want to do is commit to something with someone and then not do it, because that's lame. Like when people count on you, you have to do the work. So it's a bit it's kind of I don't know if I'm gonna take any commissions. Let's see if we can get 1 pixel there. Yeah, Willow. Yeah, she. Oh yes, that's a good one. Sorsha from Willow. Yeah, very good. Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. I could do the Queen also, Bavmord. But I have a bunch of evil queens already. For some reason, um, there's always an evil queen. You know, very rarely a guy. It's always a witch, or you know. So I have the one from Red Sonja, Queen Gedren, only because it's Sandal Bergman, the same actress that was playing Valeria, and she's the only thing that's interesting in that entire movie, I think. I want to see if so you really want to get something that feels dynamic, you know, and that's probably the most challenging thing when you're making a pose, is that you want something that feels like it's in motion, and that's always a little tricky, because it's not enough to get you know, proportions right and things like this. You know, obviously this is important, but it's not really what's gonna make the character. It's really about trying to give it character, you know. And at this size, you can't see the face, so you can convey expression with the face. So it's all body language. So you kind of want to really push as much as you can. But it's tricky because at the same time, you can't do. I don't want to do something that's too caricatural, you know. So it's kind of a challenge sometimes to find the proper balance between something that feels like kind of cool and dynamic, but that's not completely you know, like over the top caricatural. It's kind of the difference between an archetype and a caricature, you know. So see, this is what I really try to get, is this sort of arc there, because this is one of the lines of action. This is really where the dynamic happens. If you make it all straight, it's not going to look great, you know. So also notice this shoulder. There's an angle there from here to there, you know. And that's also something that you want to do as much as possible, because this gives a lot of dynamic to a character. So trying to get the shoulder up a little bit. think I probably need a little more torso. So now we're getting, we're slowly getting into a better space. Still, you know, not there, but definitely a little more interesting. And some characters are harder to do than others. Characters that have a lot of that are complex in terms of material. Sometimes they can be difficult. Like I remember when I did RoboCop, it took a while to get the metal and this, you know, the spec and the reflection, because this sort of stuff ends up being super busy. So it's really hard to get this to read. And also characters that have a lot of overlapping of limbs, like this guy, all the sleeves overlapping this the torso makes it this is easier because everything is clear and the silhouette is readable. But when you're dealing with this sort of stuff, or let's see, stuff that has a lot of foreshortening, a lot of overlapping, it's more difficult to get. Like hands, you see a lot of foreshortening in his case. How small this is compared to that. And in the beginning, you end up having the arms that are all straight, and you really have to force yourself to look at perspective in a case like this. You know, it's if you don't really do it, then everything looks a little off. And the pose is really it's a bunch of things that have to work at the same time, you know. So that's why I work. You see me always changing both legs and jumping all over, from legs to torso to arms. It's because I look at the entire thing, you know, not just the top or the bottom. I try to really think in terms of this is a whole, you know. It's everything is part of this, and everything has to work together. So I tend to build things at the same time. And also I don't I've seen quite a few people, Lara Croft, Samus, yeah, but this is a video game though. Princess Peach, Katana Halo, Jivanta, Princess Leia. Oh, the bride from Kill Bill, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for that, Psychotex. It's good. So Sorsha, I have to write that down. We're gonna take a head from someone. This doesn't really matter. We're gonna take because I need to place start placing a head now, because it's also part of the pose. I'm a little worried that this head is kind of cool because it's a little tilted, but in Pixel it's going to be really hard to get the tilt in the head. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. We'll see how it goes. So he's a lighter, in the face is a little lighter, so we're gonna just adjusting a little bit. So let's flip this one more time and see. It's interesting because in a case like this, I'm actually gonna reverse it and have him look this way, because I think it's more dynamic if the head is a little more tilted this way. Imagine that if he was looking in this direction, it would be really lame, you know. You always want the body to be it's all about contrast, really. So you want the body, if it's turned this way, you want the head to be turned this way, because that's the twist that makes it dynamic. So that's why I put the head in that direction. Oops. And the trick is going to be to try and marry them so they so it's not just the head that's stuck on the body, you know. Zooming out is always a good idea too. That's why I tend to have two windows open, one where I can do the work, and one that is smaller, because it's really, when you look, you zoom out and you take some distance with what you're doing, that you get a better feel for things. Yeah, I have to start being a little more precise, because like I said, this is really now it's a matter of sometimes a couple of pixels, depending on where they are. It's changing everything. You need to give it trying to see if I need a little more. I feel like I could go a little wider maybe, but I'm not sure though. No, probably not. So here it's important to have a shadow early on. So that's that really sets the head into the to the body. That, you know, it grounds the head. Otherwise, you get a floating head. I don't have a lot of cast shadows usually. I try to maintain the shadows fairly simple, but sometimes it really helps. I think I need more room. And it may end up too big, you know, because since I move, I add pixels and I move things around. It's possible that it'll end up a little big, but this is not too hard to adjust. I'd rather try to get things to work without worrying too much about the scale of everyone compared to him. And then when I get it, then it's time to figure if there's a real scale problem. But I don't want to deal with too many things at the same time. Oh, the hair. Yeah, I can do that. So hair, we're gonna pick something like somewhere over there. Blonde hair is always more difficult because people assume that it's very light, but in fact, blonde hair is often hair, even when it's blonde, it's darker than the skin. It's getting a bit more finicky. Silent there because it's getting a little more difficult, so I'm a bit more focused. So where's I often have an issue in one specific area of a character. Like here, this is where it happens. You know, once I fix this, once I find you know what's wrong, then we'll be in better position. I feel like this is really where I get the most problem. I'm gonna try to bring this a little closer, and then we're gonna give a slightly different angle there. Since I moved this shoulder, I need to bring back the elbow in, otherwise the arm looks too long. In fact, I want to see if I can. I have the feeling that it's going to be more dynamic if I raise it if I raise the arm a little bit. Yeah, maybe. And at that point, I don't really necessarily look at the reference anymore. It's more the feeling now. Try to get things to work, and I don't worry too much about the actual pose, because I have the basic gist of the pose. So now it's really about trying to make it all consistent and cohesive. So lots of back and forth. You have to keep the work very organic. It's a gesture. A pose is really a gesture. So there's a certain sort of it's all dictated by a few lines of action, and you kind of have to feel that, you know. And it's almost that's why a lot of artists, you know, when they do a character drawing, like you see a comic book artist and people like that, they will draw very fast, because the gesture of the pen becomes really an asset in that case. They get the energy out of the sheer motion of the hand. Oops. Slowly getting there, but definitely not quite. And sometimes characters that don't have like this guy doesn't have a lot of very interesting features. He's basically a guy wearing pants and a tank top. It's really there's not much to it, so they are more challenging actually, because they don't really have anything going for them. no cool, flowing parts or nothing to break the silhouette. It's always tricky to get that. They're not my favorite characters to make, that's for sure. I really need to get that round, that oops. Hair are pretty long, but it's always difficult hair because it's either too long or too short, but there's not enough. The heads are too small to really make a hair interesting. You can't really convey much. So that's getting a bit better. Still not super happy overall. I tend to be quite long sometimes to get something, but I guess you have to be patient when you're doing something. It's you can't rush things too much, but at the same time you don't want to overthink the stuff. So that's it's always the challenge is to try and find that balance where you're making meaningful changes rather than scribbling. Just gonna check at this point. I want to check size a little bit. He's a little small, actually. Interestingly, yeah, it's because he was based on Luke, and Luke is fairly short, so we can. He's got room to breathe a little more, which is not a bad thing actually. Because the head looks big, but if the body is torso and everything is a little bigger, that's gonna help. So we're gonna give him 2 or 3 pixels. I need to find where. That's 1. Legs, they can get a little more too. Then you just fill it up. I'm trying to separate this arm more. A bit more here. I think I want to. Oh. Yeah, legs can take one more actually. Like I could already get more, even more of an angle there. I don't know. Yeah, he's a little tight. Feels a little constrained. Doesn't really breathe very well. So I need to find that. And generally, when you have it, you know, it's just something that it's kind of hard to describe, but when things get into a place, you kind of feel it. Something that, and the more I think the more you're doing this, the more you end up recognizing, identifying when that happens. That arm gave me a lot of trouble. It's often because you don't see something obvious very often, and then when you finally understand, then it's like you know, a bulb lighting. You really it becomes really easy at that point. But here I'm not sure. I'm kind of trying to fix things, but I don't have a real understanding of the real issue. I would like to get a bit more shoulder, and rather than have a, you know, slope there, kind of want to really feel the shoulder. has to go a little flat. Oops. When they made the movie, Dino De Laurentiis, the producer, he was known to be a pretty difficult to work with, and he had a lot of issues with a lot of people, and on many of his films. And at the time, he was pretty big in Hollywood, so he could afford to be a little bit of a dick, you know. And then it went so bad on this film that Sam Jones, the guy who plays Flash Gordon, actually left the filming before they were done, and so they had to have an actor to say some of his lines, because he hadn't said all his lines on screen. He sort of acted, but they didn't like the voice or the tone of voice, and since he didn't want to do more takes because he was fed up and he left. They had to find an actor that had a similar voice, and to record some lines at the very end and dub it on the movement of his lips, which is really really bizarre when you think of it. But I guess it's not the most crazy thing that has been done on a film. It's they always end up with very weird stories like this. Like if you've seen I think of this because it's one of those situations that are, there's a lot of issues that happen or that the director or producers realize after the fact, because they're in a post-production for a while, and sometimes they realize when they're in the editing bay that something doesn't work at all, and they need to do a reshoot. And when that happens, it's really hard because you have to call back the actors, you have to dress them exactly like they were at the time for continuity. You have to remember if the guy was what was the weather, and find a similar area, and so sometimes it's really complicated, and they have to cheat a lot of things because they can't really reproduce exactly the same thing. And on the Justice League movie, if you've noticed, I was watching this, and I thought, man, there's something weird with Superman on his mouth. Just something weird on the mouth, and I couldn't really. It was kind of blurry and weird, but I couldn't really understand why there would be an issue with that, you know. And I just didn't get. But something felt wrong, and I saw, to the point that I looked it up on the net. I was like, am I crazy, or it seems like his mouth is kind of CG or something, but I couldn't find any reason why they would have a CG mouth on the actor. So it turns out that I was right, because when the actor Henry Cavill filmed at the end of the Justice League, right after that he jumped into Mission Impossible 6 Fallout, and started to shoot. But the thing is, they had asked him to have a mustache on this film, and so he grew a mustache for a few weeks, you know, and then they were filming. They were in the process of filming Mission Impossible when the production on Justice League, they realized that they needed Superman for more lines and to reshoot some scenes. But he had a mustache at that point, so they asked the production of Mission Impossible if he would shave his mustache. But if he was doing that, then that would really delay a lot the production on Mission Impossible, because you'd have to grow it back. Yeah, they didn't want a fake mustache, you know. They wanted to be real, and those things, they usually are quite horrible. You can spot them a mile away. So so what happened is that the director on Mission Impossible said, no way, you know, screw you guys. It's your problem, you know. You had to figure it out when he didn't have the mustache. Now it's we can't do anything for you. You have to figure it out by yourself. And so so what they did is that they deleted in CG the mustache. Thank you, Chic. Thank you for the follow, for the subscription again. Thank you for your gift to Murder Bunny. It's really awesome. I really appreciate all the support and what you've done on bringing people and all that stuff. It's very helpful for me. It's such a niche thing, pixel art, that it's quite challenging to get people to notice you. But I guess that's a problem that all streamers have. You know, I'm sure that when you stream, even if you stream a popular game, you're gonna have some trouble to find your audience. I feel like it's either you're on a super popular type of stream, like you're streaming I don't know, Black Ops or something like this, or Fortnite, but then you're kind of you're lost into the crowd. There's so many of them that you can't really get noticed because there's just too many. Or like me, you're more niche. There's not that many people who do that, but then it's such a small audience that they can't really find you either, because there's just not that many people that are interested. So it's really challenging to find the balance there. I guess for me, I'm not I figured that I would stream because that could raise some awareness about the project, the game, and it's a very good incentive to to stream, because it forces me to work every day or every other day at least. Otherwise, you can easily become a little complacent um, and feel like, oh, I'd rather play a game or watch TV. But when you know that you've promised the people to stream, then you go in and you do it, and that's a very good motivation. And I realized that having people also asking questions or things like this, sometimes it also helps you to identify sometimes the issue with the art, because as you explain something, you have to sort of analyze it, and by doing so, that's where you realize that sometimes there's an issue that you wouldn't have necessarily spotted otherwise. It's interesting what happens. Why can't find a way to make this spot look good? I feel like it's always too wide or not enough. You never get the proper balance there. I can't really show this. It's too big. It's a case where one pixel is just too much, which is a shame. Need to get more of a little bit of a curve in the forearm. Always looks a little better. So it's getting closer now. Getting close to that moment where we can start getting into something a bit more precise. Here it's challenging because I want the connection with the other arm, but then I want to transition into the shadow. See how this part is much darker than this? It's because light doesn't really get there. It's all in shadow. Because lighting probably, you can see there's a little bit of a kicker there. What I call the kicker is this sort of light. When you know, glancing light on a character, they tend to do that a lot. And see here very well. And so because of that, it creates a lot of shadow there. Okay, so this is a bit better. Also try to have always one foot, the back foot to be a little higher, because then it gives a little bit of a perspective, like if you stand on a plane like this, you know, then this spot is further away from the camera. So that's why there's a difference in, because everything that's close to the camera is lower, and everything that's far is higher. So if I wanted to have a lot of you know, a lot of perspective there, I would go like this, you know. And but if I do this, then see, it looks much more like his two legs are exactly at the same level, almost like from a top view it would be leg 1, leg 2, you know. But what you want is this, because the torso is twisted like this. So you always have to try and think of a character in several dimensions, not just you know, this this and that, you know, but also this. It's really a 3-dimension, and that that last dimension is the hardest to get. But you can't overlook it, because like I said, things will look just a little off, and you won't be able to determine exactly why. It's a real problem here, because I would like to have the angle in the head, but I can't really get it. Just want to see if I could I think we're gonna try something different for the head for this one. That's blind face, but that's okay. We can let's see. I want to get the chin to look down a little bit. That's why I need this angle there. Before it was all straight, and that's what doesn't look right. So I need to do I need to have this angle in the head. No, that's really where pixel art can be really frustrating, because you never get it's either too the incline is too much or not enough, you know, and then you end up with having to make a choice that's almost you know, the least offensive. You can't really be super satisfied with any of the. And I guess that's also something that that is very much an odd thing. Sometimes you can't really. I think we're gonna put the sword now, because this will help to for. So let's see. Yeah, like I was saying, in art, sometimes you just have to admit that things are not looking exactly the way you want, but you have to be able to identify opportunities, and by that I mean things don't necessarily look like you had anticipated, but it doesn't mean that that it's going to be wrong, you know. You may have to embrace the sort of the problems that you have, and sometimes just change the pose, or should go with the flow, you know. Because if you try to stick to your guns no matter what, then sometimes every drawing, every painting has almost a life of its own. It's really weird. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure if you've done a little bit of drawing or painting, you know what I'm talking about. There is a sense of almost like an identity to a painting. It's not entirely you. There's a bit of randomness in it. There's all sorts of things that you don't necessarily control, and those things, they're very much part of the painting, and you can't go against them. You can't go against the grain. You have to really listen to the painting. It's always a weird thing to experiment the first time, when you struggle with something, and then all of a sudden you realize that you've tried to combat, to fight something that you should have let go a long time ago. And actually, sometimes you need to push what you considered a mistake in the beginning. And also, you need. I feel like it's important to be sometimes a little courageous, you know, and admit that something is just really in a bad state, and then you have to sometimes make the hard choice of killing it entirely and starting from scratch. Because trying to recover from a situation sometimes is really painful, and it's better to have a clean slate. But it's and you feel, but it's hard because you feel like you've wasted all this time. But in fact, oftentimes it's it's actually quite faster to start again than you know, trying to fix things that don't work. Wrong layer again. It's because I collapsed this on the layer underneath. So sword needs to be quite long actually, and it feels too thick. I need to go thinner there. Those are always the worst because angles they are never quite right. So you have to find a sort of a compromise there. Ideally, you want this type of perfect even angles, you know. But sometimes you just want something at that, or this is perfect, you know. But sometimes you want in between them, and this is where things start to get really messy, because it's 2-2 and then it goes to 3 at some point, and you have to identify where you can where you have to where it shows the less, you know. Sometimes I hide this stuff behind. If I have something in the front, then I'll move a part that's underneath, and you won't see that it's actually offset. But in that case, there's no hiding there. So I kind of have to make it work with what I have. It's a really weird sword. I don't really not a fan of this thing, but this that's what it is. Lots of designs actually in this movie are very questionable in my opinion, but the costumes were great generally. There were some really fun costume. It looks more like something that came out from a fashion show than you know, a science fiction pulp. It had a really fun sort of almost Jean-Paul Gaultier craziness. If you remember The Fifth Element. Thank you. I think that, yeah, I mean, it's getting there. It's still, I'm still kind of a little bummed with this. I think it's there's just something there. I feel like maybe the arm is just a little too. But other than that, yeah, we're getting there now. Getting there finally. And there's not much opportunity for lighting either, you know. On this guy, he's very it's very simple. I'm gonna try to light a little bit this area. Try to see if we can suggest the bicep there. But you see how small this is getting. So really, I mean, it's not like you get many opportunities to do anything. So in that case, well, that's how it is. You know, you just have to do what you can, you know, and leave most of it to the imagination of the people who are looking at what you do. It's actually there's a lot of suggestion in art generally, or you know, in painting. You don't have to really spell out or show everything. You can do a lot. You can suggest a lot of things, and because the brain is very good at filling the blanks. That's something that we're as humans, our brain is very good at that, and sometimes to our detriment actually, because that's why you end up sometimes making assumptions, wrong assumptions, because the brain doesn't want to it always goes for a shortcut, and the shortcut is oh, I know what this is, you know, and so I don't need to look at it. Color, for instance, is very tricky. You think you know how saturated or what kind of shade is a blue sky, very simple blue sky, but oftentimes it's actually quite different than you have in mind. And even if you're trying, you've seen it. If you try to buy a paint or something like this that goes with something you have at home, and then you look at a swatch, and then you're like, oh, I'm sure that you know, my couch or whatever is roughly this color, and then you bring the swatch home and you realize that you're completely off. It's because we never as humans, we never use our brain to really analyze things. We leave it to assumptions, and we glance at things because there's just not enough time for the brain to really break down all the components or everything. Light is the same thing. There's a lot of complexity in light, but you don't the brain, you can perceive it, but you can't analyze it. You don't know why a certain lighting or a certain time of day things look more interesting, you know, at magic hour, but you feel it, and that's because you know but if you're trying to reproduce this in a painting, then even though you've seen it, you can't really put your you can break it down to its simplest components. So I think when you you want to do art, it's good to force yourself to look at things, really look, not assume that you're looking, but really looking. And I think you can progress faster by sometimes by just spending time observing things and looking outside, looking at people, looking at architecture, sky, lighting, everything. And you don't have to paint, but if you really if you make the conscious effort of really analyzing things, then when you paint, and all of that stuff is sort of in your brain, it's and that helps a lot. So I'm gonna start putting some lighting now. I think sword is still weird, but when I'm getting tired of an area, sometimes I'll just give up on it and I'll come back, It's this thing that I hate. It just messes the entire flow of that sword. The flow of something, that's what I was talking about earlier, is there's a certain gesture to everything, a certain life of its own. And if you a sword has a certain dynamic, and putting this round thing, cutting that flow there is a really bad idea in design. But if they had done something like this, or or like a second, then the flow would have been respected. But this is really unfortunate. As I think in design, you always want to imagine. So there's the famous quote for design is for concept is form follows function, which means that the design is really based on the function of something. That's why an aircraft looks a certain way, because of aerodynamics. That's why certain things that don't need design, that don't have a specific function, when a designer does something that just out of his not really thinking about the function of something, then it's harder to make something that looks nice, because you're not you don't have you can't rely on something, on some rules. You have to make the rules as you go. So in a case like this, what is this? What's the function of this thing? If they had figured that out, then maybe they, it would have been done differently, or it would have been something. But like putting this just for the sake of having something different is not necessarily a good thing. You have to to think about why you are doing things, and a sense of economy in design is really important. You don't put stuff to put stuff. As a matter of fact, a good designer, I think, or a good painter will try to get rid of all the fluff. He'll try to really stick to the essentials, and sometimes removing things is a better idea. Going for something a bit more pure. But the natural instinct is to add stuff, add detail, because you give your brain something to do, and you assume that you improve because you have more complexity. But getting something simple that looks good is harder. But this is where the really good designs happen. Still fighting this area. You know what? I think we're gonna try and put a little bit of lighting on it, and that may help. So for something like this, we're just trying to emphasize muscles, so define a little bit the different areas. Usually I only use two values. Don't need to have a ton of stuff. No gradients or anything. They just complexify for no reason. It's better to keep it clean, especially at that size. It's so small that you can't really start to render things out a lot. It's better to keep it simple. So see, there's really not much to do there. We keep it very very light, because it's also It's also important to keep the level of detail consistent. So if you start to put too much detail everywhere, too much rendering, then you get into a territory where things become hard to read, and readability is always your first concern, more than anything else. Flow and dynamic and readability. Things have to read against each other, you know. But it's always something that we tend to overlook a bit too, because as you paint, usually you're so familiar with the design that you're making that same thing, your brain assumes that you know, you can read things perfectly. But in fact, when someone looks at it for the first time, they'll be sometimes very confused by something that for you seemed really obvious, because you've spent so much time you know, drawing this, that you understand the shape of everything. It's crazy how many times I've changed this arm. It's insane. But what can you do? I try to go just a little more contrast overall. Usually I always paint with not enough contrast, and I add the contrast later on. In shadow, in shade, you want to you always want to push saturation in the shade on skin, because skin is not entirely opaque, you know, it's translucent, so you see the blood through it, and so that's why when you look at someone as the sun right behind their heads, you can see the ears get very red, and that's because on the edge, and that's because you see the blood through the ear. Simple as that. And this happens everywhere in the body. But the more dense, the less light goes through when you have bone and stuff like this. But in ear, it's just it's very it's not something that's very thick, you know. and so you see a lot going, a lot of blood, and light can actually go through and light the blood from inside. And an arm like this will also on the edge show a little bit of redness due to the blood and underlying tissue. Gonna have one more value there. It's very you would think that this really doesn't add much, but in fact it helps with the idea to convey the idea that it's it's a little deeper there in shadow, and kind of, and then this part, those two parts, eventually they merge into the same almost same height, you know. So this is a bit smoother, and as you go there around the back of the arm, the two masses, they start to detach from each other. And so by having a deeper value there and a little less, then you can convey this. I think here I'm gonna have to go a little lighter. Same thing when something feels too thick, it's because the contrast between the white and the red is really big, and so also this is light, so you have light and dark, and so thank you, Thinktai. Thank you for being there, Thinktai. Thank you for the follow. Have a good night, a good day, depending where you are. And so yeah, so this goes, this is dark, this is light, this is light, and so the contrast makes this line look very very big. But if I go lighter, then you'll see that it looks a little less thick. You see, if you look there, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller, and that's just because the contrast is not as strong. So that's a really good trick when you want to convey a certain size for something, but you can't get it under, you know, it's 1 pixel is a little too much, and but you still want something, then you can play with the contrast and go a little less contrasted. And that's the same in the other way. You know, if you had everything was dark, then if you want a line to be thin, like you'll go this will look thinner than this. See the difference in so you can almost by doing this, you could like do for instance a blade, you know, that goes more pointy at the end, just with just 1 pixel. because the contrast goes down, so it almost looks like this shape on a blade, you know. So it's a good trick, and it can really save your life in sometimes. We're gonna do the same here, because I barely want to see the tank top there, especially here. See, it's getting really thin in that area, so then we can use contrast for that. Do that. Okay, black is really not the most interesting, because we can barely do any lighting. We're still gonna suggest a bit of something. We'll assume that the light wraps around him a little bit. And the belt is kind of a shame, because it's also black. So I think one thing that we're gonna have to do is we're gonna go a little lighter there, and we'll go a deep black for the belt, and hopefully that'll be enough to suggest. And also what we can do is have a little edge to it. Here we're gonna do a little bit more lighting on the top of the leg. And this is really important to define where the knee is. And there's a bend there. You can go even more contrast, because I really want this lighting to show a little bit. As long as you still perceive the outfit to be more or less black, then that's okay, you know. But if it starts to feel like it's gray, then it means that we've gone too far, you know. Can even mark the knee with just oh. Wow. A bit of lighter edge there. Oh, on top of that, I think he's got the black boots actually. So they're kind of shiny boots. So for this, we'll have to have some suggestion of some reflection. And we can try to have the boots just a little wider at the top. So then you feel like, you know, it's actually on top of the leg, you know. Do the same here. Found a little bit of a seam. What kind of shape is this? It's very square actually. And there's some sort of a red gem or something in the center. We'll do that. Okay, something that's not quite right is, well, let me see. Yeah, I think arm is a little too thick compared to the leg, and leg needs to be just a bit stronger. You see, it's really a matter of a few pixels really, but it really helps to get a better size. Can't really stress enough the fact that everything here is comes down to sometimes a couple of pixels really, and not more. I think that's what makes pixel art a bit difficult, is you want things to read. You want to be able to understand shape and form, but at the same time, it's easy to get into everything looks super chunky and big, and especially what I'm doing in that case is very it's actually quite unusual. A lot of people in pixel art, you'll see they do little chibi characters and big eyes, and because they're very pixel friendly, because you can go super chunky for all for everything, and it looks nice, but I'm doing something more a bit more realistic in proportions. They're not entirely realistic, but they're closer to realistic proportions. And so with this, it's very difficult to get something to form to read and shape and all that without going too much. It's always very tricky to get. I think maybe that that belt should be maybe a little more centered. Trying to get a bit of muscle in the thigh there. So now already well, almost done in terms of basic rendering, except head, but for the most part it's going to be done. What's always nice is when they have either something around their wrist. Anything really helps define the hand, but it doesn't wear anything. What I can do is suggest a little bit of the hand kind of bending. But I can't really do too much again. This helps to smooth out this curve a little bit, just having a little less contrast there. Let's flip him again. I feel like that sword needs to be more of a statement. It's probably not that big, but I feel like it looks a little short and weird. Kind of want it to be more of a statement. Yeah, I think it's probably better. Try to put some eyes. I'm still not sure about if I really want to show facial features on the characters, like eyes or stuff. I feel like the blank face, they look quite nice. Feel more like they have a bit more edge, but I think people tend to react to this, and they don't really like that. They want to see a face and eyes and be able to determine where the eyes are and the mouth. But I feel like to me the blank face looks better. It's really always very challenging to get the hair, especially light hair. Gonna see if I can try to separate the hair from the face more. Would be tempted to go lighter, but you see, that's what I was saying. If you go very light on hair, and if it goes lighter than the face, then it doesn't register as hair. So what we can do there is go for change in saturation and in hue, so a bit more green in the hair. And what we can do is go maybe a little darker face. That may help a little bit. No, not really. Try to define a bit of shadow underneath the hair, but same thing. We can. It's almost nothing really. Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah, at this point, it's almost done. We can give a little bit of a glint to this thing. We need to overdo it, you know, just a little thing. And the sword, we can try and do the same thing. We'll see if we can suggest highlight on the boots. It's gonna be difficult because there's no again, there's not much not that many pixels to work with. We're gonna try. Usually you want a pretty hard highlight on everything that's you know, leather or plastic, stuff like this. Can't really render much. something I don't like about the shape of this leg, so I'm gonna have to address this. Can't really do much in this thing. Yeah, it's not the best, the most interesting character for sure. It doesn't have a lot of doesn't have a lot of interesting features. That's always kind of a bummer, but he's a nice character. He's very and he's very well known, so I think it's worth doing. No, I can't really. I wanted to see if I could put an edge on this boot, but not a big fan actually. Just highlight on the foot, but not much more. I can't really. I was hoping I could get a nice hard highlight there, but it's too small to really show. It won't register as a highlight. It looks more like nothing, you know. It's just a weird white spot. Doesn't really work. Let's see if I forget something. So, oh, he's got the logo there. So, logo. We'll do. Can't really be there's just maybe 30 pixels to work with, so can't really do much. But we can suggest the outline. Seems like the gold outline, and then we'll put a little bit of red in there. The red is kind of a bad thing because it messes up the arm. We can't really see the arm. That's annoying. Yeah, that's go darker. And again, see, that's what I was mentioning about readability. When I add this logo, I don't want to sacrifice how the arm reads against the body. So rather than showing a nice clean red logo, I'd rather have it pretty dark, like in shadow, so that I can read where the arm ends, you know. And here we're gonna have to do the same. Actually, I think this arm can go darker, quite darker. And again, see saturation up. Wonder if it looks a bit big, but it's gonna be again too small or too big. Oops. Playing with almost nothing really. It's crazy how you need to make something work with almost nothing. Go back to a big head. I want to see the difference. I hope I can have it. I think a longer head is a bit better. And we'll do a quick highlight on the saw. It's too close from the background, so we'll do the opposite. We'll go a little darker and leave an edge. But again, here when there's nothing to render, there's nothing to render. You know, you kind of want to find something to do. You know, you're desperately looking for an interesting little detail or something, but unfortunately, it's just the nature of this thing that there's not much to show. Let's check size real quick. Still a bit small. I mean, it's not too bad because his legs are more bent, so so that's why he ends up a little. His head is big compared to him. It's kind of what I was. I think it's just a matter of it's more in line. So I think we can make him just a little taller. The scale here is so close anyway that it's not really a big deal, you know. 1 pixel more or less or more. But I always try to get as close as I can, you know. Yeah, that seems about right. Something I think I could do is go down here and make the ratio legs to torso might be a bit off. Where is he? Lost him. Oh, there. It's better this way. See if I can separate that. I've tried to separate this arm quite a few times, but yeah, something like this. Actually, I should go lower because it looks like this is too very tricky. And here, imagine that there's a lot of foreshortening as well, because the arm is it's kind of going backwards a little bit. Yeah, not much I can do. I think at this point, yeah, it's getting to a point where I really can't find something to do. So usually it means that it's about time to stop. Let's see if I can suggest. No, probably not. And I think what I could do, yeah, I won't be able to to already show that back arm that much more. Wish I could have, but it's gonna be it. Just want to see if darker might help. Yeah, I think you know what, we're gonna go quite dark. Again, it's all about trying to make things read against each other. There's a bad tangent there where the sword touches the arm, and I don't want that, so I'm gonna have to go a little shorter there. So really at this point we're pretty much done. I can't really do much more anyway. Size. Still a bit short, it's crazy. I think it's really it's also that and then maybe just one there. Don't want him to look too short compared to other characters. Yeah, it's a bit better. In fact, I think I could go Oh no. I get a bit of an angle in that belt. No, I think legs are a bit too long actually. I have to resist the urge of making him as tall as him, because really it's about the bend in the leg, so that's fine. The fact that he's a bit shorter, it has to be this way. No. Okay. How long are we? 3 hours. It's always around the 3 hour mark that I feel like I can't find anything to do. I just want to see if we can crank the contrast a little bit, just like this, and see if that helps to just on the skin. Or maybe no, yeah, maybe the entire top there. But I don't want to affect black because it'll get too dark. So just the top, like this spot. Can go just a bit, but not much. Oh, yeah, that's better, I think. we can't really have two hands there. It's just too small, really. You can suggest just a bit of a finger or something, but that's really about that. It's as much as we can do. Okay. Oh, hey Julien. Julien is always finding the good reference for me. Oh, there's some red outline. Still doesn't tell me what's the purpose of this thing, but yeah, thank you for that. I'm gonna add a little red. Actually, might help a little bit. Might definitely do a. This will help define the shape, the form, so it's a little less mushy. So that's actually a good thing. Very strange. So I'm not sure what they tried here. I mean, that's it at this point. I think we're gonna call it. Oops. We're going to call this guy. Could go on forever, but it's more about at this point. It's about just really trying a few things, looking for any kind of improvement, you know. But there's not much to be found at this point. It have to be a completely different design to look very interesting. It's just like that, you know. It's not super exciting. I wish I didn't have see, this is a pretty bad when you have one big line and then a kink like this. So I always try to find something a little smoother. This is pretty annoying. So one thing you can do is do a bit of anti-aliasing. Like just one pixel will take the curse off. But the better solution is to really try to find more of add a third line like this. But then it gets a little too fat, so gonna have to find a median there somewhere, something like this. I'm gonna name him Flash Gordon, and it's got a nice, now finally he's got a nice, he's kind of like bent backwards, and that's what I was trying to get, because this gives a lot more energy. So here I'm gonna give him a little bit of a shadow, and that's gonna be it. So tomorrow I'll be back. I think I will try, because it's off tomorrow. It's we're off at work in the at noon actually. So I'm gonna be home earlier. So I think I will try to get the stream going in the afternoon actually. It might be a little easier for people on the East Coast to watch it. So there's more difference between there's 2 pixels of difference between the 2 feet. That's why I'm struggling with this shadow, because I wanted to avoid again this this sort of thing, you know. It looks like I'm gonna have to have it. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Junior. Well, so I guess we're gonna be done. Do I forget anything? It's not like there's anything to forget. I mean, it's really so basic. Yeah, no, that's it. Guess I could show a little more skin in that area. Oh, alrighty. No, it's fine. I think your skin is it's a bit, it's maybe a bit too dark still. Yeah, I think we could go a little lighter. Looks like he has a tan. Yeah, and this also the benefit of that is that the arm is lighter against the top, and so you see it's way more readable in this area. Tank top versus arm, so definitely a good good choice there, I think. What's this? Okay, guys. So yeah, there was a lot more people today, thanks to Sheik with his raid. It's the first time someone raids the channel, by the way. So that's really cool. And I was glad that you guys are stuck for the most part, at least some of you. But even again, like I was saying all the time, even if you stay 5 minutes, even if you lurk or anything, it's always supporting the channel no matter what. That's how I view it. You know, it's you don't have to do anything special, really. Any bit of help is always appreciated, and a bit of attention It doesn't need to be more than that, really. But however, if you have like I said, if you have questions, you can always ask. Don't hesitate to ask anything. I'll be glad to try and answer if I can. And as usual, if you have a suggestion for characters, like Zack Attack gave me a couple that were actually really good, and I'm gonna make them. Then yeah, don't hesitate to give them, because like I said, I'm looking for more female characters, and they're not always easy to find. And not only heroes, you know, they can be of course they can be villains, you know, good or bad. It's up to you, wherever you can think of that. And also I try to have the theme around the 80s and earlier, so you know, pretty much anything before, let's say, the 90s. It's all fair game. And I don't want to I guess it's just it's completely arbitrary. I mean, I could totally do you know, modern films, but I feel like when there's a bit more distance between the subject and then it's there's a bit more nostalgia, you know, so it adds a little bit of a component that I like. So trying to figure if I could make him a little wider there. We need this, I think. So we're gonna end it there, and so tomorrow I'll be back with another character. I don't know what we'll do yet. Usually I decide almost last minute. We can even decide on the stream, you know, on the moment. If someone has a good idea, I can, since I need to make all those characters anyway, the interesting ones, so it doesn't really matter in which order I'm gonna make them. As long as we have an idea, I can I can start on this right away. So we'll see what we'll do. Would be nice also to do maybe another, like a creature or a robot or something, instead of another human. You know, might be good. I wanted to do for sometimes I wanted to do the Predator, actually. I think the Predator is going to be a interesting case. It's very specific with the crazy hair and all that stuff. There's quite a bit of a there's a lot of interesting challenges in this guy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. There's no point in you guys watching me adding and removing the same pixel for 3 hours. I'm not. I'm just at this point I let my brain kind of wind down, so it doesn't. I'm not really doing anything. So yeah, we'll end it there. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll find something nice to do, and then I'll stream on Friday after that. And I was considering streaming on weekends, actually, because I figured there might be more people who want to watch on the weekend. But I'm not sure if it's a good idea, because also on the weekend, I guess that a lot of people, they want to go out and do some things, and they do the groceries and all sorts of things, and they don't necessarily have time to actually to watch anything. So I don't know if it's something that I should do. I'm pretty yeah, I have no idea, actually. I guess I should try and see if there's anyone there. Okay, so that was Flash Gordon. Next one tomorrow, and maybe we'll try to do a creature. That would be nice. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I want to thank you again, Pixel Bleed, for being back. That was great. I'm happy you came back. If you're still here, Zack Attack. Who else? Thinktail for the follows, and also Chic. Obviously, he gave me a lot of support. Added me on his Discord. So you guys, some of you, if you're on his Discord, there's an alert when I get online. That helped me quite a bit. Murder Bunny, I'm glad you have your subscriptions, thanks to Chic. That's really good. Now you can spam the little computer in the chat, and then who else? Yeah, and the raid was really fun. So I hope you guys like what you've seen, and that it was a little bit helpful, or just fun to watch. Doesn't need to be educative or anything. It's as long as we're having fun, that's really all that matters. So we'll see you tomorrow at I think so. I haven't decided the time. I think it's gonna be probably around 5, maybe something like that. So what I'll do is let's say 5. That's it. No, actually, let's say 3. I think 3 might be good. 3 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Stream in the afternoon, so it'll leave me the night for me, and the sooner the better for the East Coast, because 3 it'll be 6 on the East Coast when I start, so that's pretty good. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific West Coast, I'll be there and I'll make another character. Thank you again, guys. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.